good to see some familiar faces. So I'm going to do a brief history of St George right at the end of the meeting, and it's St George's Day on Wednesday, so obviously we've got the flag there. You know, St George is the patron saint of a number of countries: Georgia, Portugal, Ethiopia, Palestine, Greece, Bulgaria, Lithuania, Lebanon, Bosnia-Herzegovina and Catalonia in Spain. He's also a patron saint of many big cities: Moscow, Milan, Genoa, Venice, Beirut and Barcelona. So yeah, I've got some merchandise here. This is to help raise money for leaflets for the party and that, and they're £10 each, and basically they cost us £5. We're trying to raise an extra £5 to get leaflets and stuff. So if anyone wants anything there, they're welcome to buy some. Obviously the leaflets are free, and what I would like is everyone here to join the party. It's £20 on the spot today if you want to join. If you're unwaged, it's £10. It's £22 online, £11 unwaged online. So I'm going to give a short history of my campaign since 2022. And you know, as some of you all know, I stood in the election in 2022 in Holborn and Covent Garden ward, this ward. And initially, I only stood for practice reasons really, and to encourage other people in our party to stand. Because I can't really be involved with a party and try and get other people to stand when I haven't done it myself. So I've got a pretty good vote in 2022, and the response I got on the doorstep was so encouraging and so positive. I realised that, you know, a lot of people around here are not going to be voting Labour, and everybody seems to think this is a Labour stronghold. This is no longer a Labour stronghold. And there's around 8,000 voters in this ward, and Labour used to usually win with about 1,800 votes, and all in all, about 2,500 people out of the 8,000 would bother voting. So there is technically 5,500 voters who are not voting, and I thought to myself, well, you know, I could potentially win this seat if I put my mind to it. So I started campaigning for this particular campaign a year after when I stood in 2022. So I started in the summer of 2023, and since then I've been knocking on doors religiously twice a week, and I go out for 2 hours each occasion. And so for 3 years I've been knocking on doors twice a week. And since Christmas, I've been trying to do it five nights a week, and I've been more or less keeping to that. In the 3 years, well, since 2022, I've delivered 3,800 leaflets in this ward, 6 different leaflets. Obviously, the initial leaflet in 2022 was 7,000 leaflets. I've done a thank you leaflet for everyone who voted me in 2023. I did this leaflet in 2024. I did this one in 2025. There was 5,000 of those ones, 7,000 of those ones, and I've just done 10,000 of these ones. This is the final leaflet. And as I said, if anyone wants any of these leaflets, you can take any ones you like. So yeah, been knocking on doors twice a week now. It's like 5 times a week. And the statistics from my door knocking campaign, and incidentally from my door knocking campaign, I have managed to recruit 3 extra candidates. And there's one there, Mark Burnell, and Angel Dadden there, and there's 1 or 2 not here today, because we've got 5 candidates in Camden. We've got Angel standing in Somers Town, we've got Luke McCarthy in King's Cross, myself and Mark Burnell in Holborn and Covent Garden, and we've got someone else, Jose Fafian, who's standing in Regent's Park Estate. And I've met all these people, apart from Luke McCarthy, from the door knocking campaign. So after all this door knocking, the statistics are I've had 1,186 people say to me face to face they're going to vote for the National Housing Party. And 261 maybes, that's people don't want to commit on the spot. I usually say, did you receive our leaflet? And if they haven't received it, I'll go through the leaflet quickly with them and they agree with most of it. And so they're more or less a yes as well. That's 261 maybes, and I've had 345 flat out no's, like Labour supporters or Green supporters. So that's pretty good statistics. You know, admittedly, that's over a 3-year period. So a lot of these people, they probably don't even remember me. That's the honest truth. But a lot of them will, and we know where they are. So on election day, we will be out knocking on the doors to all the people who said yes, they're going to vote for us. And at the end of the day, you know, Labour are not going to be winning this election, I don't think. The Greens are going to be splitting their vote, and those sort of people are not our sort of voters. So, yeah, that's my local campaign, and that's what we've been doing. And I met Mark before Christmas, I think it was November, knocked on Mark's door, and we had a quick discussion, and fair play to Mark, very brave. You know, no hesitation whatsoever. Yes, I'm going to stand. Well, you know, happy to have an address on the ballot paper. Very important we put our address on the ballot paper, whereas other candidates in this election have not. You'll see it on this list. This is the candidate list for this election. 17 candidates. So you've got Liberal Democrats, Greens, Labour, Conservative, Reform. They've all got 3 candidates. We've got 2 candidates, but only 3 or 4 have been brave enough to put their address. Because if I'm knocking on people's doors and I'm saying I've got their name and their details, a lot of people are comfortable with that, and I understand that. So I thought it's only fair they know where I live as well, and it's to make it more of an open and a fair relationship between us and the voters. So yeah, that's basically the campaign so far, and I just wanted to. The next section of the meeting will be, we're just going to go through each policy of the final leaflet. This is our final leaflet, and obviously the more pressing campaigns are at the top. We'll go through them all, and the first one is obviously Camden People First for social housing. 30,000 odd people that can't even get on the waiting list in Camden. And I've explained in detail what they did in 2015. They removed the 30,000 off the waiting list, told everyone to reapply, only allowed 7,000 back on. You know, also that's our statement on refugees there as well, because it's not an easy subject to discuss with people, but the bottom line is this nation cannot take in any more refugees. We've helped enough. We cannot accept any more. We're trillions in debt, and we're in a chronic housing crisis. So these parties like Green and Labour, they're just living in a different planet, and this is why Labour are going to lose so many seats. So that's the first campaign thing, and a lot of you may have heard me say this story before, but I live on Leather Lane, just around the corner there, and in the block of flats where I live, one of my neighbours, he was more or less born in the same block where we live, and he slept on his mum's sofa for 30 years. 30 years on the sofa in the front room. I shouldn't even laugh. And he phoned up Camden, can you get me a flat? No. Can you put me on the waiting list? No. This is an absolute disgrace, while they're continually saying refugees are welcome here. And they made Camden a borough of sanctuary for refugees in 2023. How can they do that when there's 30,000 people waiting for those council flats? Not only that, I didn't even know Mark's story, but even Mark, one of our candidates, is overcrowded. He's sleeping in the front room on a camp bed, and Camden don't give a crap about it. And it's just a coincidence that Mark is in this situation. But this is how bad the problem is. It's widespread. And it's not only for native British people, it's also for British citizens of whatever heritage they are. You know, they've just abandoned everyone because they can't seem to snap out of this woke ideology that they're in. They think if they snap out of it, they seem to think they're the devil or something. But so that's the main policy, obviously, for this local election. And you know, we are going to speak up on the council if we get elected. How much power we will have, I don't know. You know, if myself and Mark get elected, we're going to have 2 votes on the council. I don't know who else is going to get elected, but this is a long-term thing for me. If I get elected, I'm going full scale all across Camden to find as many candidates as I can and try and get rid of these people, because these people are scum. I'm sorry, but they are. People who run Camden Council are scum, and this is what we want to do. And practically 75 to 80% of the people I speak to on the doorstep agree with what we're all saying in this room, basically. So that's the first one. Is there any questions on that one? Anyone want to ask anything? Okay. The second one on the front page of our final leaflet is the LTM road closures. Now, a lot of people, they don't drive, and it might not affect them as much as other people, but it really affects my life. I'm a driver, and I know there's a few cab drivers here today. And it's not just us. It's elderly. It's disabled. It's businesses. Businesses are losing business. Red Lion Street, there was a sweet shop there years ago, 4 years ago. It's gone now, I think. You know, because people don't stop off at the shops and stuff to buy things. In this cafe, like, you know, they're making along Grazing Road, when they put the cycle lane in, it's put a few businesses out of business there because of it, because they just don't get the trade anymore. So, you know, I've identified 36 of the roads around it, which I've named in here. I've named every road. You know, you've got Mercer Street in Covent Garden, you've got Dryden Street off of Drury Lane. Drury Lane, there's a lot of people are furious. They're black cab users, and they live in an area, they can't stand on Drury Lane because none of the black cabs are coming up here anymore because they've chopped it in half, haven't they? Yeah. You know, it's a disgrace what they've done. This city was built for vehicles, and you know, all these little roads they built was to make life easier for us, and then they've just gone on closing them all. So yeah, that's a big one of the campaign. You know, Hatton Garden, they've restricted it. Revel Street, they've blocked it. Ray Street Hill, they used to be able to drive down there. Ray Street, they've restricted it at one end. Pakenham Street, the cut through round the back, that's closed. Corporation Road into Islington, blocked now. Judge Street, you know, I want all these roads open. I'm determined, I'm so determined to get this reversed. And who knows, you know, we could get elected, and this could be the beginning of the fight back. So that's the second one on the list. Any questions about that one?
No, but like cycle lanes, is that any policy?
Well,
it's too, like, it was ridiculous. You've got main roads, Grazing Road and Tuttle Road. Why do they have to have cycle lane on both sides? Why can't they have a little wider on one side and the cycles go like
two-way, yeah.
That's what they do in other countries. You don't have to have both.
Yeah, yeah. And
now we're risking our life as a pedestrian. Yeah. Can't walk anywhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The whole
electric bikes.
The whole traffic thing is an absolute disgrace what they've done. Yeah. I've heard from so many people who are voting for us, women, elderly women, you know, they're terrified of walking across the street now because of their bikes. Yeah. And they're going 30 miles an hour, these electric bikes, and it's like very dangerous now. They're going faster than the cars because everyone knows the speed limit is 20 miles an hour now.
And they haven't got a licence either.
That's it.
And they're knocking so many people down, and the hospitals are busy as it is.
Yeah, so our policy for that is terminate all the pay-as-you-go e-bike contracts in Camden until they're regulated. So if they're left on the pavement, they can be fined. And if they go through red lights and stuff, they can be penalised.
Because there's one there and they can be sent to prison.
That junction down there, no Farringdon Road, Holborn Road, there's deaths there all the time. Because it's so dangerous. There's bikes going through the red lights.
Every junction.
Yeah.
The amount of people that have been killed, cyclists as well,
in
Holborn in the last, 10 years? It's really bad.
Yeah, yeah. Also, adding on to the LTM road closures, you know, they've made High Holborn one lane at Waitrose, and they're trying to do it to Theobald's Road as well. And we're opposing all of this. We will oppose all of this, and it's just a disgrace that they've just got no regard for the heartbeat of the city. Vehicles are the heartbeat of the city, and you you know, I think it's affecting the economy personally. I think we need to find. I'm all for people riding bicycles, but we need to have a fair balance where they've just gone completely lopsided in favour of bicycles. So the third one on the list is, you know, we want 172 new parking spaces, and I've been round to all the roads around here to identify where we could put them. And I've measured up Gracie Road. It's all in here in detail where we can do it, and they're just anti-motorists. I mean, I think it's a total disgrace that the Labour Party like blackmail people, and they say you can only take this new property if you don't have a car. You're not going to be able to have a parking permit. What about if you're a black cab driver or an Uber driver or a delivery driver for Tesco's or whatever? You know, they're excluding you from a working class industry. And I think it's criminal. Like Sadiq Khan and Keir Starmer drive around in Range Rovers, motorcades. And my philosophy is, we all drive or no one drives. You know, like why do they have special? Well, we know why, don't we? So yeah, that's there's parking spaces, and also the suggestions they've proposals for these new restrictions. You know, some people still don't know, but they're trying to enforce now that anyone who comes to visit the area, like lots of people are angry about this around here, elderly, family, visitors, they need visitors and stuff. And at the moment, you can park on a yellow line or in a residence bay at 6:30 Monday to Friday, and they're trying to change that so you can't park there from 7 in the morning till 9 at night. And if you want visitors or families to visit you, you have to pay for a visitor's permit. And then all day Saturday, and they keep changing it because I keep looking because they realise that people are getting so angry about this. And you know, at the moment, I'm pretty sure it's all day Saturday. I'm not sure about Sunday.
You can't park on Sundays on the board.
No.
No, we travel walkers are working here on Sunday morning at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
On that topic, my brother had to visit me to drop off our deceased brother's opinions to me. It was such a nightmare for him to park, and we had to pay so much to come in. It's not just congestion zone now; it's other costs.
Yeah.
And so he was not going to stay the night. So he set off when he was tired, and guess what? He crashed on the motorway and luckily he's all right, but he completely wrote his vehicle off. And that is a consequence from him finding it too difficult to just lay over for a night. So they've made it impossible for us to conduct our lives as we used to. And yeah, I think it's a real push on getting normal people to have that benefit of being able to just drive and have visitors. Yeah, obviously those go around in their big cars and have all their parking spots.
Yeah.
They don't give a damn about that.
Well, I know you live in Covent Garden, and it's particularly bad in Covent Garden. You can't even find a parking meter around there anymore. That's how. Like, I remember I used to maybe go shopping sometimes in Longacre with a shop. There's no parking meters to stop for half an hour. They're just completely eradicating the use of cars. And people live around there like you. And
on my particular road, they've brought in a stupid scheme of some cycle path, and they're going to cut off one of them, like I think St Giles Passage, you won't be able to go down. And it's just ridiculous. It does nothing. It doesn't benefit, and they haven't even accounted for the fact that we've got a bin road. And so they will, if they change the road, then the bin men won't be able to get to our bin road. So they don't even think about simple practicalities, even though they make out that they consult with the local community. They actually don't listen to any of the feedback we give them. They just tick the box saying they have consulted and pretend that no one's holding them accountable.
But the consultancy processes that they use are clearly designed to not be inclusive, because elderly people don't have the ability to go online to Q codes and all the other bits and pieces. So the only